Welcome to the Joy Work Show, the podcast that goes beyond the surface of business, right to the heart to explore the real journey and the stories behind success. Not just the moments of celebration, but the challenges that pave the way for them. Hiya, I'm Diane. And on this podcast, we know that joy isn't about just the good times. Often the greatest joy comes right after the greatest challenge. And today, boy, am I going to be talking about challenges. So if you're new here, we have 2 episodes that go out every week. On a Monday, which is when this episode will be coming out, is a solo episode with me, talking about business mainly, but life and kind of everything in between. And then on Thursday, we are joined by a guest and talk all about their joy journey. So today, I'm going to be talking mainly about something quite personal to begin with, but I'm also going to be talking about manifestos. And not the political kind, but the life and business kind. The kind that makes you sit up straight, be accountable, roll up your sleeves and take on the year with intention and purpose. And let me start with this. 2025 has no plan B for me. I'm sure the universe is going to test me in many ways, and I will be talking about that a little bit in a second. But there is no plan B for what I want to get done, for what I want to achieve, for where I want to be personally and professionally by this time next year. My business needs to succeed. My health is demanding my attention right now, more of that to come. My family deserves my presence, and I want to be a walking, talking, radiating beacon of balance and success. So this year, it's all or nothing. And if that sounds familiar to you, then this is the episode that you want to listen to. So let me begin with a little bit about my health. And I didn't think I would ever really do a podcast specifically about this. And I suppose this isn't, because I'm then going to go into my manifesto for 2025. But the reason I've done a manifesto, the reason I have gone down this road, the reason that it's not just about planning goals and goal setting and what you want to achieve this year, is that I do have chronic illnesses. And over the Christmas period, I have spent more time feeling ill than I have feeling well. I was put to my bed by my body the weekend before Christmas. I have severe inflammation and severe pain. I mean, it's just been a difficult time. So the reason I wanted to bring this up is I have care under consultants. And as we know with the NHS, things can take time. They're incredibly overwhelmed. But I had a pre-op assessment on Friday, so I will be having surgery within the next 3 months, if not sooner. So I am preparing for a different year than perhaps I thought I was going to. I knew last summer that surgery was on the cards, but I'd been warned about waiting lists. So I was trying to manage my symptoms the best I can. So this is all. I have had 30 years of mixed diagnoses, treatments, operations. I missed out on many opportunities. I started to get ill as a teenager, and I would collapse in toilets, running to toilets very frequently, pain, having to make sure when I went to university that I got an ensuite bathroom. It sounds completely privileged, but it was part of something that I couldn't imagine going to university because of the problems that I had, and generally never knowing when or how unwell I was going to be. And I wasn't officially diagnosed with endometriosis until 2020. Previous to that, I had symptoms of Crohn's, irritable bowel. I had been diagnosed with polycystic ovaries, but I've had treatments and tests for many, many things, as anybody who has any type of gynecological disorder will tell you. It's a process of elimination rather than a test that tells you you have something. So I was officially diagnosed with endometriosis in 2020 when I had surgery that ultimately meant that I got pregnant with my girls. So I have 2 babies under 3, nearly under 4, and I'd been trying for 4.5 years up to that point, and was getting iller and iller and iller at that point, and had burst cysts and different things happen just before the surgery. And then the surgery, they removed the endometriosis, and I was able to fall pregnant. Now, for those of you that don't know, endometriosis is never cured, then it will grow back. And I am now nearly 2.5 years since I had my youngest baby. So obviously my periods are coming back. They're actually more regular than I've ever had, but the pain is coming back, and I've got a whole host of new symptoms. So it seems that I'm struggling more throughout the month than I ever have before. So that now means I'm going to be treated for that. And so it's just meant consistent flare-ups, progressively getting worse. And that is what I've spent a lot of the Christmas period doing. And it now leaves me at the start of a year that I have huge plans for this podcast, the Joy Work Club, the Joy Work Members Club, and my own business. And I need to be a little bit tentative about it because I don't know when the surgery date is going to be. So that could knock a few things off the calendar. And I also really need to look after my health. Health is our wealth. We are nothing without. We could have all the successes in the world, but the minute somebody takes your health away, nothing else seems to matter. So I know that I need to look after myself. And for somebody with a chronic illness, the thought of having surgery is actually really positive because it's a step forward. It could mean relief. It could mean some further diagnoses. It could mean with a management plan in place for me. And there could be all sorts of results for me that come out of this. But it means it's moving forward rather than staying in a place of, well, I don't know what this month's going to bring from a health point of view. So I am relieved and delighted that that is the way that my year is starting. But it means that I've looked at things perhaps in a slightly different way than what I would have had this not been as imminent. So I don't fully know what to expect, but I know I will continue with the intention and purpose in my personal and professional life, regardless of my health. That does not mean that I am being nonchalant about it or that I won't prioritize my health. It's actually the opposite. I will 100% be prioritizing my health. But in prioritizing my health, I want a thriving business. I want a thriving life. And as I said at the start, my family deserves my presence. And I want to make sure that all of that is there. So I am building a business to be flexible, and my health is a huge part of this. I don't know how I'm going to feel when I wake up tomorrow morning. And look, none of us really do, but I know there's a higher chance that I could feel awful as opposed to somebody who's in great health. And I've put lots of things in place that I look after my health. I'm moving more, I'm exercising, you know that I'm part of the She Collective. The role was on the podcast a few weeks ago, that I've actually had quite a few weeks off because of health, but I'm going to be back to that tomorrow morning. I know there is slower movements in there I can do on the days where I'm not feeling at optimum health. I can look after my diet and the way that the food that I consume. I can look after my stressors. There's lots and lots of things that I can do outside of the medical intervention that is going to be happening for me. But the reason that I'm building the business is because of the illnesses that I have. It's a huge part of my why. I need that flexibility. And also I want that flexibility. I want that flexibility for my family and for me. But it's so much better option for me of being able to really hustle on the days that I feel good and also make sure. But hustling for me isn't about burning out, isn't about going hell for leather every hour of the day. Hustling for me is making sure that I am focused and strategic and have things in place that build a thriving business without me having to be there 24/7. And the business that I'm building is so much better for on those days where I don't feel great that I can take a little step back knowing that all those systems are in place. Now, I'm not saying I'm 100% there. I wouldn't even say I'm 50% there. My business is incredibly young, but I am, with having the intention and the focus, I'm much further along on that process than perhaps somebody who hasn't been looking at it from that way and is much more winging it on a day-to-day basis. So, and it's much better than when I had my career, when I used to have to hide in toilets or push through the pain or pretend that I was okay when actually I really, really wasn't. The amount of times I've been found on toilet floors is something quite remarkable. So it's just about me making sure that I am building the business that I want to build. So that is where I currently am. That is where my life is. I'm not going to go into more of it. I'm sure I will in the future. I would love to get people on this podcast to talk about chronic illnesses and how they deal with it in their businesses and how they deal with it in general. But that is where I'm at. And the reason why I want to talk about it today is because of what I've got coming up, that it is going to be it's already such a huge part of my life, but I can't come on this podcast and talk to people. I can't be authentic online without sharing that is where I am at. And I've alluded to chronic illnesses. I've spoke a little bit about endometriosis and spoke a little bit about my symptoms and things, but you can't be authentic. You can't just mention these things without going into detail. So that is where I'm at. And what I want to talk to you today, and from here on in this podcast episode, is a manifesto. And why would we create a manifesto? Why do you need it? Now, if you go back to my 2 solo episodes ago, I spoke about the word journey. And there was quite a few people who love it, a few people who hate the word. And go back and listen to that of why I am reclaiming the word journey this year and why I think it's really, really important. And manifesto is one of those words as well. If people think it's a bit bougie, people think it's a bit cliche, or people think it's just one of those things that people say to make them feel important. But why am I putting a manifesto in place? Why has the last few weeks brought me to this place? So a manifesto is more than a list of goals. It's not just another Pinterest board. It's not just a vision board that you're creating of resolutions and things that you want to do. It's an actual declaration. So I wanted to put something in place that was like a contract with myself. So it's a commitment to yourself, as you were, and a reminder of what truly matters when things get tough, which we know they always do. The universe always tests us. So even for myself, who know the next few months are going to be incredibly tough, physically, mentally, and professionally, it's the compass for when it gets messy. And when you feel like you're drowning in decisions, distractions, and deadlines. So I talk a lot about vision. I talk a lot about goal setting. If you're in my world at all, you'll know that's a real big thing of what I am about. But a manifesto takes it that little bit further. It feels more contractual. It feels more accountable. It feels like a statement. It's telling the world. If you're a manifester, then it is putting it out into the world what you want to do. I don't believe in manifestation in that if I just say what I want, I will get it. So a manifesto feels a little bit more of action, a little bit more of what I want, and this is what I'm going to achieve. So a good manifesto isn't just about what you want to achieve, it's about why it matters and how you will show up every single day to make it happen. And that's the bit that's really important to me about making it happen, right? It's not about being perfect. It's about being present, purposeful, and yes, unapologetically ambitious. So I am not going to sit here and tell you that how ill I have been and the health struggles that I'm going to have, that I'm going to stop being ambitious, that I'm going to stop trying to strive on the days that I feel that I can. The days that I feel well, I am going to go for it. I am going to go for broke. But on the days that I need to step back, I will make sure I have the systems and the processes and the strategies in place that mean that I can, because that's what works for me. So I want you to, if you're going to think about a manifesto, to think about what works for you. So what does my 2025 manifesto look like? So I'm going to share a little bit with you. So if anybody does word of the year, I have a word of the year. Word of the year is something new to me over the last few years. My word of the year last year was yes, and that I was going to say yes to everything. And most of the time I did, but it certainly changed and flowed slightly differently towards the end of the year as I realized I had to become a little bit more intentional. And it was a little bit about knowing what to say yes to. But it was my word. I owned it and I learned through it, and that's what's really, really important. So my word for this year is radiate. And the reason that my word is radiate, and if you'd asked me a few weeks ago if that had been my word, I've been sitting on words, I've been journaling, I've been going through them, and the reason that it is radiate is because I am wanting something that just takes in everything that I am wanting to achieve, everything that I want to encapture within the business, the things that I want to do. And radiate to me embodies visibility and connection. And I knew visibility is going to be a huge part of 2025 for me, because it's now time for me to get the podcast out there in a much larger way, the Joy Work Club, and just everything that I want to do. I want to amplify it. That was nearly another one of my words, but I've decided to go with radiate. So it's that visibility and that connection, because truly without connection, you don't have anything. You don't have marketing. You don't have sales. You don't have a business without getting that connection in place. So to me, radiate suggests sharing your light with others, building relationships, and ultimately creating this ripple effect of abundance, which is really important to me for success, and joy, because, well, you know how important joy is to me. So my word of the year means unapologetically stepping into my light. I want to radiate health. Obviously, that's what I've just spoke about as I go through surgery and the rest of the journey that no doubt my health is going to take me through this next 12 months. I want to radiate confidence and clarity in my business. I want to build on the courage that I've already had to then gain the confidence to know that I can move forward in the ways that I can because of the courageous, bold moves I made last year. They can now grow into greater things this year. And also because I've decided that in my business, failure isn't an option. They can be learnings, they can be falling down and getting back up again, but there will not be failure. It is not part of my dictionary of 2025. And obviously I want to radiate joy and love, because that's what we're all about. That's what we're all here for. And then I want all of that in my family life, because they're the reason I do all of this in the first place. If I hadn't had my girls, I don't even know if I'd be on this entrepreneurial journey that I'm currently on. So how does it look for my manifesto? So for me, it comes down into a few different pillars, I suppose, sections, whatever you want to call it. So for me, I have 4. My first one is health. And in my manifesto, I commit to honouring my body. That means showing up for the hard days, embracing the good ones, and making choices that support my short and long-term health. Business. This year, there's no plan B. I will prioritise what moves the needle, say no to distractions, and focus on my zone of genius. Family. I will set boundaries that protect my time with my loved ones and be fully present when I am with them. We will always have an adventure planned to look forward to. Personal growth. I will continue to learn, grow, and challenge myself, because my business and my life can only grow as much as I do. So each of those 4 sections, pillars, quadrants, whatever you want to call them, is all tied back to my word radiate. It's a reminder for me to show up fully even when it's hard, and to shine a light on what truly matters to me and my business. So I'd like to send out an invitation for you to create yours. So grab a notebook, open up your notes app, or listen to this and then come back to it. And here are some prompts that can guide you. So your word of the year. What's one word that captures the energy you want to bring to 2025? Your why. Why does this year matter to you? What's the bigger picture you're working towards? What is 2025 going to do for your bigger why? Your pillars, your quadrants, your themes, whatever resonates with you, break it down. What are the key areas of your life and business that need your focus? For me, It's health, business, family, and personal growth. Not necessarily in that order, but that's what they are. What are yours? Your commitment. What will you commit to in each of those areas? Keep it simple, specific, and meaningful. And your reminder, what's the mantra, quote, or visual that you will keep you going when the going gets tough? For me, I always come back to, I'll do what I can from where I am with what I've got. I don't compare myself to others. I stay in my own lane and I focus on what's really important to me. You can pause this episode if you want to go back and jot these down, or you can come back to it at any time. And remember, it's not about anybody else. It's what feels true to you. It's not what looks good. It's not what you're going to post on Instagram or Facebook or anywhere else. It is what is going to give you clarity and your commitment to yourself. Writing a manifesto is one thing, but if you're making that commitment, how are you going to live it? How are you going to bring it? So you want to display it somewhere. Put it somewhere you'll see it, your office, your planner, the bathroom mirror, the fridge door, the door that you leave every single day. Whatever it is and going to work for you, make sure that you can see it. Mine is up here in front of me on a vision board, which I am actually changing a few things on very, very shortly this week. So, and then review it weekly. Set aside time each week to revisit it. Even if it's just a glance, even if it's just that 5-minute break, sit back with your cup of coffee, look at your manifesto and think about, are you living and breathing it? And if you aren't, what needs to shift? Or has something happened that your manifesto needs to change? How exciting is that? Has an opportunity changed the path that you were on? Share it with somebody. Now, I don't mean post it on social media, although by all means, post it on social media if you want to, but tell someone you trust about it. Accountability is a game changer in all areas of business. It is the most successful part of the members club. It is the most successful part of the way I work with clients. Yeah, it's just a total game changer in business. So if you have a manifesto, why not share it with somebody who's going to turn around when they next see you and say, how is the manifesto going? How is that going? You know, I am sure there's going to be lots of people in my life who said, Diane, you committed to yourself that you were going to look after your health. Is that choice you just made the best choice that you could make for your health? Are you working too much? Are you not prioritizing sleep? You haven't moved as much this week, even if it's just a quick 10-minute walk around the block. There'll be people in my life that'll be holding me accountable to make sure I look after my health. And obviously adjust it. Anytime I come on here, I work with you, I talk in the Joy Work Club, nothing I will do, even though I am a strategist, nothing I will do is set in stone. Nothing is rigid. Life happens, so allow your manifesto to evolve as you do. It's not about rigidity, it's about alignment. It's about intention. It's about knowing your purpose. It's about being able to come back to yourself. And I know I'm going to have to come back to myself a lot this year. So I just want to leave you with this. Your manifesto isn't a wish list. It's not a to-do list. It's not goals to hit. It is your battle cry. It is you telling the world that you are here and what you intend to do. It's a declaration of who you are, what you stand for, and how you're showing up in the world. For all of your life. So what's your word for 2025? What's your why? And what will you commit to? If you do work on your manifesto, I'd love to hear from you. Share it. Give me your word of the year. Share it on social media if you want. Drop me an email, whatever it may be. Okay, Thursday we are back with a guest episode, which there will be some sneak previews of that later this week. I hope you're looking forward to getting back to business properly. I'm sure Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week we will see everybody coming back from their Christmas caves and ready to take the year on. And even though my year might look a little bit different than what I thought, I'm still excited. I am still ready to go, and it's still going to be my best year yet. So let's keep each other accountable and inspired. And just remember that joy isn't just about the sunny days. I go on about that a lot. I think people think when so much of my business is focused on joy that I would not be wearing black in every single episode. But it's about finding the light, even in the dark, and radiating that light into everything that you do. There goes that word radiate again. And yes, I cannot wait to see where this podcast goes this year. I cannot wait to see where my business and your business goes. So thank you for tuning in to the Joy Work Show today. You can come and join us in the Joy Work Club for free. It is a community that currently sits on Facebook, so you can come and join us for free there and just see what we are all about. Even just come and have a nosy if you want to come and have a nosy. The Joywork Members Club doors are currently closed, but there is a waiting list if you want to get on there to come and join us and find us what it's all about. Drop me a message if you would like to know more. And yes, I would just love you to let me know if you have been working on your manifesto. Here's to a radiant 2025. Until next time, keep shining, keep showing up, and keep chasing the joy. And if you would love to give us a follow, a like, I will love you forever. See you next episode.